This is Perspectivas Latinas, a community service of CAN TV. I'm Juan Carlos Hernandez. Since 2006, En Las Tablas Performing Arts has been helping people of all ages enter the world of arts on Chicago's Northwest Side. Our guests are here to talk about their work and the inspiration behind it. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, our first guest here today is Maritza Nazario, welcome, and Milka Ramirez.
Yes.
Let's start by talking to you, Maritza. You are the founder, correct?
We're both founders.
Both founders, okay.
Co-founders, yes.
Co-founders, okay. Well, then the question is for both of you. What made you want to start this organization?
It was the desire to give people an alternative or an experience in which they can explore the arts. As a child, I grew up very poor. And
where did you grow up?
In Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, very poor family of 6, with parents that basically were able to only feed us and put some clothes to go to school. The arts, forget it. There was no money to send us to take any classes. And I was exposed first to dance through a friend, a neighbor, had a granddaughter that her parents paid for ballet classes, and I used to go with her just to keep her company. And that was my first experience. I've never seen ballet in my life or flamenco, and that was the first experience, and I fell in love with dance at that point. And the instructor, since I was there, I wasn't paying for the classes, but she opened her heart and gave me the opportunity to practice, gave me some ballet shoes and some castanets, and I was able to dance with all the other girls. As soon as the summer was over, because this was just a summer experience, then I went back just to classes, to my school, and never again was exposed to any art experience until I went to high school and took theater classes. And from there, my love for the arts. So I followed that love and that passion and
into university.
Into the university, yes. I was the first student from the theater classes in high school that went on to do a bachelor's degree in theater. So I did a bachelor's degree in theater, loved it, and that's how I came to this country in order to pursue a master's degree in theater.
That's what brought you to Chicago?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
You came from the island to the cold.
Yes, I wanted to go back many times, but my desire to continue and do a master's degree, which I had an opportunity to do a master's degree in theater here. And as time went by, you have to do different works to survive, but I continued to do theater and dance, teaching plena classes in some places.
Plena too.
Yes, I was involved doing some dance and choreographing, but really my background is theater. But that was always there. I want to continue to do this, but I don't want to do it part-time anymore. I would love to have this experience and do it full-time. And in 2006, I quit my job, and I have already, Milka and I had been talking about the idea of doing this, and she said, oh, well, let's do it. And we quit my job, and I went ahead and went forward.
Okay, well, Milka, tell us about...
Yeah, so my trajectory is a little different, right? Yes, I was also born in Puerto Rico, but my passion for the arts really comes alive for me in high school. In between my sophomore and junior year, my mother passed away suddenly. And as any teenager would at that time, losing a parent was very difficult. And so I lost a great deal of motivation to continue to go to school, and it was a very difficult time for me. And when I entered my junior year, it just so happened that I was programmed to take a drama class with the very famous Professor Nilda Pauly at Roberto Clemente High School. And I immediately got drawn to drama and the arts because it was my way of sort of expressing myself, expressing what I was feeling. However, Nilda Pauly said to me, if you're going to continue to be in drama and you're going to continue to do any performances here, you have to know that I expect you to get at least a B average and to come to school every day.
Wow.
So
Because you weren't then, you were just
'cause I
so
wasn't.
heartbroken.
I was heartbroken. I was lost. I was really contemplating dropping out of school. And I now realize that really what Miss Polly was doing was mentoring me, right? I learned that later. So I completed my high school degree or diploma at Roberto Clemente High School. I went on and got a bachelor's degree in psychology, worked in the field for a while, moved into getting a master's degree in social work, did some work with Chicago Public Schools as a school social worker, found that a great way to reach youth was through the arts, having them express what they felt either through poetry, dance, or music, and I incorporated that in my clinical practice. Went on to get a PhD in social work, so now I'm a professor at Northeastern University, where I continue to incorporate a great deal of the arts. But for me, it was that catalyst, right? The arts for me was my lifeline. And so this gives us an opportunity to provide that kind of experience for students who would not ordinarily have the opportunity to engage in the arts.
Well, tell me about how your paths crossed and how you finally said, we need to do this. We need to offer the community our passion, because for both of you, it was life-changing.
Yes, yeah. Well, we are in Hermosa, and if you know anything about the west side of Chicago, it is riddled with crime, a great deal of dropout rate, especially among the Latino youth. And so there was such a need, I think, or we thought, right, when we thought, where could we go to do this type of programming? We had an opportunity to go into different type of neighborhoods. And we purposely chose Hermosa because there was such a need for Latino youth to really have a lifeline, some kind of hope, some kind of alternative to what's in the neighborhood now. And feeling that the arts provided me with that lifeline, with that alternative. And then Maritza had the experience, and she can talk about why Hermosa. It was a natural fit. You know, the Latino community is in need of something that offers expression. Historically, we are a very lively, passionate culture, and the arts has always been in our history, right? So why not? Why not Hermosa, a community that's really needing performing arts and quality performing arts, right? Because our instructors are master degreed and very highly trained, and that just was, there was a void in the community, to be honest, and I felt that we had a responsibility to fill that void.
As we were talking earlier before the show, 2006, I mentioned that year because it's kind of an in-between year. You decided to start an organization right before the economic crisis.
Yes.
Yes.
And I mean, some people had seen that already, a lot of people didn't. But you're still here. You're still working. Tell me about that founding and, you know, what happened during those difficult, lean years for so many people, but especially nonprofits.
Well, of course, we didn't know that the economy was going in that direction. We were just following our heart and our dreams. We wanted to make this happen, and at that time seemed to be the best time for us, not necessarily for the economy, but for us. So we went ahead and did it, and at the beginning, of course, there was a big need, and we just sat outside on the sidewalk, had balloons, and passing out flyers that we did ourselves. We couldn't afford to pay anyone, and it was amazing. The response of the community was amazing. They were like, oh my God, finally, a program like this that we can afford. And just people kept coming. We just walk the streets, pass out flyers, sit in front, people sit with us, have conversations. And right away, when we opened on September 16 of 2006, we had large classes already. I remember hip hop was like 14 students.
Right.
We only started with a pre-ballet 1 and a pre-ballet 2. And we had found a ballet instructor, a Latina bilingual ballet instructor, which very happy to
Highly
find someone
trained,
highly trained,
yes.
Wow.
in ballet from Mexico. And we happened to meet her. She's also an actress and a singer, and we were very excited. And she said, "Yes, I'll do it." So we went in so excited, saw the need, saw how people were just looking for a place. And then when the economy hit,
But you're still here. But before we get, I want to backtrack a bit because Milka, you mentioned, and you're kind of touching on that right now, Hermosa, Hermosa Park area. Why was that such a, why did you decide to go there? Because you kind of touched on that already.
well, at the beginning, when we were wondering where we take this program, where we find a home for this program, we consider, of course, Humboldt Park, because it's the area I grew up. I mean, not I grew up, but I lived in Humboldt Park after I came to Chicago. Milka grew up in Humboldt Park. And of course, we said immediately, this is the community that we know. But you know that already the changes that are happening in Logan Square and Humboldt Park, we felt that there are other areas in the city that are not really, no one is taking them in consideration, and they're bigger need. So we kept looking at different areas, and Hermosa happened to be right there. We live very close from Hermosa, and I saw that community is amazing. It's a multi-Latino community, and when you look around, business after business closed. So many empty businesses, a lot of crime, a lot of unemployment. But at the same time, you saw people that got up early in the morning to go to work, and people with families with a lot of kids. I mean, just walking the streets. There was no, when we saw this, when we moved into that neighborhood, and we saw that, this is it, Hermosa. It is a place where there is a need, so that's where we went.
Right, I agree, because even in 2006, we already began to see the changes that were occurring in Humboldt Park and in Logan Square in terms of housing and gentrification.
Right.
And so we knew that we didn't want to be part of a gentrification movement. What we wanted to do was really be sort of an opposite of that and provide a community that was still very much Latino-centric, an opportunity.
And working class.
And working class, an opportunity that would not have been afforded to them. If we had opened up in the heart of Logan Square, the heart of Humboldt Park, we would have probably gotten a different type of population, not that working class population, and that really was the heart of what we wanted to do. And we wanted to work with still that newly arrived Latino family that still had those Latino roots and the sense of community. That was very important for us. And that's why Hermosa, and that's why still Hermosa, because I think Hermosa still represents that.
And again, we were looking for a community that didn't have these services. They didn't happen. And we wanted to work with monolingual at that moment.
Right.
Of course,
Monolingual Spanish?
bilingual.
Yes.
Then,
Or
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, we had a lot of people that did not speak English. A lot of people.
Wow.
And there was, I mean, how many places can you take your kids for ballet classes when the parents themselves don't speak the language and they have a problem communicating? We
Right.
wanted to make sure, eventually, of course, it was a bilingual program, but at the beginning we knew that we were going to have a lot of monolingual parents, and we wanted to make sure that we were able to talk to them, to communicate, and to offer those services.
And go ahead.
And I just want to say there's such a rich, creative community, excuse me, in Hermosa, that I think is neglected, right? I think that's changing because of programs like En Las Tablas Performing Arts and other programs that have moved into the community and other grassroots efforts. But it's exactly that. It's that grassroots efforts that we really want to be part of that, right? Because that's my sort of upbringing. Also coming from a very impoverished background, and being able to give back to our community, and really our community giving back to us because we're open as long as we're open through this economic crisis because the community has supported us. And when I say the community is our parents, right? It's amazing how they support our program.
Well, tell me about some of that amazing
Sure.
support you've gotten. I mean, that helped you make it through the crisis. What have they done? What have they told you? What have they done?
It's
How
amazing,
they've
right?
reached
I'll
out?
say just a little bit and I'll let you jump in. It goes from something as simple as bringing, and I'm not lying, right? A roll of tissue paper
Yes.
to making a matching donation through their employer.
Oh, wow.
Because their employer has a matching donation program, so they donate and then their employer matches it. But really, it's that simple, right? Bringing a box of tissue. I mean, it's
Wow.
amazing. It's
Right.
amazing the kind of support that we receive in our program by our parents.
Wow.
Our parents knew when they saw a class with 3 students or 4 in it, they knew that what was happening. It was happening all over.
Right.
So they knew it was happening to us. And I think the fear of a program like ours just running the risk of closing, so they just wanted to help any way they can. And so what are the needs? And these are the needs. We make a list, and in that it was paper towel, bathroom cleaner, floor cleaner, crayons, coloring books, you name it. Even we have a jar that you can put dollars in there, so we have to print stuff, and we couldn't afford the ink.
Wow.
So they will put money there. When we have $50, we could afford to go and buy a cartridge of ink. To that point, people will, what is it that you need? When we had recitals, okay, what do you need? Oh, we need cookies, we need spaghetti, we need, it was like that. What is it that you need? People were there all the time. And I think what makes a difference, and we haven't mentioned this, is that our parents are invited to stay in the space. So they're there. They see what's going on. They are part of the classes.
It's not only the parents, it's the grandparents, it's the aunts, it's the great-grandparents.
You all
We have
squeeze in
some
there.
Latino family, hey, you're welcome to come.
Right.
They come.
They come. Yes, we had an experience with a Halloween party we had, and I think the first one.
Our first year, we
Our first
decided
year.
let's do something safe in the neighborhood. Let's invite our parents for what we thought was going to be a very small Halloween party. We had great grandparents there. We had
In
aunts.
costumes?
Some of them in
Yes.
costumes, some of them not. It was just, they saw this as a community space that supported their children, so they wanted to support us. And then our recitals, we have, you can talk about sort of the numbers we get at our recitals, which is incredible.
And they're all at the space.
No,
This-
we can't. Our space is too small.
No, we have. Yeah, at the beginning, it started in a neighborhood. I mean, whatever we can find. We've had recitals even in the backyard, whatever we can find. But going back to this Halloween thing, all these people. But imagine the amount of food.
Oh wow, I can.
I mean, everyone brought like for 20. So it was amazing. And our recitals.
Great food too.
Oh, yes. And at the beginning, our recitals were like that. We went into the community. Okay, can we use your space, but we can't pay you. We use the park district. We use whatever we can use. And we used to have, we have 4 sessions a year. We used to have a recital after every session. Could you imagine?
Wow, wow. So tell me about these sessions. These are classes, right? And how long are the classes? What classes are you offering? What are the age groups that come in? Because you say all ages, and you do have stuff for adults as well. Because I don't, and I found that really refreshing because so much is. I mean, obviously, children are learning and growing into that passion, but a lot of adults still have, like, well, you're a clear example that have that drive and that passion and that desire.
And sometimes it's the same parents of the kids that are taking classes. They come to take salsa, or they take yoga.
Also, there's salsa?
We have salsa classes for adults. And sometimes they do it because they say, well, I've never learned to dance salsa. It's affordable. Let me do it. But our classes begin, actually, we start at ages 2.
2?
Yes. We have.
So you have 2-year-olds?
Yes, 2 to 3
Wow.
in a class called Little Movers and Shakers.
No.
It's a creative movement class. And then from there, we go into pre-ballet 1, ages 3 and 4, pre-ballet 2, ages 5 and 6 and 7, and we have a beginning ballet that is ages 7 to 8, and a mixed ballet class, which is a combination of ballet and modern dance that are ages 8 and up. So those are all the classes. We go all the way to ages 14 because we are not trying to claim that we are a professional dance school, that from there you become a professional dancer. What we want to do is to expose you to dance, to performing arts in general. And once you really, if at 14 you're still doing it, it means that this really is something that you really want to pursue. From there, then we help the student to try to get into another school, a professional school, or another school. An example, we have a student that right now it's working with us as an assistant instructor. She's 17. She started with us at 10.
Wow.
We helped her to get into Shy Arts. We worked with her in her application, letters of recommendation.
Trained her for her audition.
Trained her for her audition. And she got in 800 students, and she was selected. And then when they asked her, where did you study? She was like, she felt bad because everybody else had come from private school, and she got real shy. And she said, from a community art school, en Las Tablas, nobody have heard of it. And she said, well, they did a great job training you.
Wow.
She'll be the first one in her family to go to college.
That is amazing.
Her parents migrated here, just got their citizenship. So she's just one, and she's just one of our sort of success stories, right? But we also offer hip hop, break dance. We've done writing workshops.
Writing?
Yeah,
Wow.
so we've put on stage readings, right? In our space. We've had many fundraisers. We've had drumming parties in our backyard because our space is small, but once we open up in the spring or in the summer, you can open up the back, and then you can have a huge party in the back, and we set it up and it becomes a community space. We've offered Latin rhythm classes outside of salsa, traditional salsa, yoga classes. We've always told the community, if we don't have a class and you're interested in having this class, you get a group of 5 or 6 people together, and we will create the class for you, right?
And also we participate in community events. They call, do you have, can you bring the kids?
Right.
Whether there is something for the space or not, whether they say, you know, we can give you some money or we can't give you anything, there we are. Why? Because it's important that these kids have these experiences.
Right.
Because eventually, if they're there with us when we have a recital, they're going to dance in front of people. And in terms of that, you know, we started with maybe 50 families coming to the recitals. Right now, our numbers are around 250 to 300 people that come to our recitals.
Right.
It's a huge number.
Right. So we also say, right, so this is my catch. If you can move, you can, you know, doesn't matter what part of your body you can move. Come on down, right?
Yes.
Yeah. From 2 to 100 plus.
Wow, 2 to 100 plus. That's awesome. And it's an awesome vision and philosophy behind it. The fact that what impresses me the most is your grassroots, and you decided to go somewhere where there was a lack, and a lack of services, but certainly not a lack of talent or passion or a love of the arts, and it's amazing. One final question, because we're running out of time. What do you hope for in Las Tablas Performing Arts, as briefly as you can,
Right.
In the next few years? Milka, let's start with you.
Well, we definitely would love to receive more funding because we are grassroots. Our funding really depends on our tuition and the grassroots fundraising that we can sort of raise on our own. So definitely, in order to keep our doors open, we would love that. But I think more importantly, we would just want to leave a legacy behind so that people know this is a safe and open and affirming space where everyone can partake in a safe community place of performing arts.
Okay. And you, Maritza?
I agree with Milka. Funding is very important for us to keep our doors open, but also I would like to see the program growing. I would like to be able to offer more classes. It's a performing arts program, and right now our main program is dance and theater. We would love to add voice classes, music classes, and continue to grow, but I never personally hope that we never lose that community, grassroots community experience, because I think we have survived because of the community, because we're small and we treat you like just our neighbor, like you live there. And for us, it's very, very important that we don't lose that personal contact that we have with our families, which is very important. And sometimes when the organizations grow,
Right.
that
That can happen.
yes, that can happen.
Well, I think that won't happen with you, especially with the founders having that drive and that purpose. But we're out of time. Thank you for coming to share just part of all that you do, and good luck with everything.
Yeah, you're welcome, and thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us. Perspectivas Latinas is a community service of CAN TV. If your nonprofit organization would like to work with CAN TV, call 312-738-1400 and ask for nonprofit services. Tune into Perspectivas Latinas for local issues and concerns every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. on CAN TV 21. I'm Juan Carlos Hernandez. Thank you for joining us.